a pleasure for me to welcome you to the of mastery to unshackle the hidden self and enhancing the 21st century skills among the club members, preparing them for the preparing them for the working environment. So far, we have successfully conducted two sessions to develop the various skills of the members under this continuous project and to conduct the third session on email like a professional. Someone who is well educated and talented will join with us today. Mr. S. Nimishan, holder of Bachelor's of Science degree in University of Jaffna, PG Diploma in Colombo, and Center for Computer Studies, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka. Sir, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the session, and we are grateful to have got the chance to get enlightened with your expertise and knowledge in every possible way. And with that, I have a small request for dear participants, a curious little crowd. I'm sure you will have many questions to ask in between. So please don't hesitate to shoot your questions. Feel free to either unmute yourself and ask the question yourself, or you can use the chat box very freely. So we hope to have this session as an interactive session rather than these traditional webinars. And let's keep it like a discussion. And with that, without further delay, let me hand over this session to Mr. Nimishan to share his valuable insights with us. It's over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Afra.
Yes.
Such a brief introduction and say your introduction, and also say you gave some ideas for the students to ask questions, shoot your questions here. So that's really welcome. Yes, fine. So this is about emails, right? So I'm sharing my screen. Hope you all can see my screen, right? Email like a pro, right? So that's what I'm going to discuss you today. Now you'll be in second year or third year. Also, sometimes you will be in your final year, and you're expecting to go to the industry. All right. So when you go to the industry, the communication you do throughout your career with some emails, right? So and also telephone communication and all, right? So when it comes to email communication, right? So we had to follow some ethics, so etiquettes, right? And also there are some additional options that we can do emailing or email communication as a professional, right? So we will discuss one by one, and if you have questions, you can either unmute your mic or else you can use the Zoom chat, right? So I wish we could have a two-way communication for this, right? And quickly jump into the content. Let's say we will discuss email etiquettes. Let's say we will discuss email signature. Let's say how we can add a signature to our email, right? And say one other important thing, so mail merge. Let's say I will discuss you two methods. One is creating documents, right? Say something like letters using Microsoft Word, and also doing a mail merge in Gmail, right? Say using Google Sheets. Right. So first things first, when it comes to email etiquettes, so we need to have some basic setup, right? So when we do email communication as a professional, so we need to have some basic setup, right? Okay, the first thing is your email address, right? I have seen some students say they have their email address with some part of their name and some numbers, right? So that's not a professional way of keeping email addresses, right? So if you have some email address, something like this, say yush281@gmail.com or outlook.com or some other domain, right? So it's not that much good, right? So when it comes to a professional forum, right? So in the industry, so when you go out from the university in the industry, say you might be keep up some professionalism, right? So then if you have some email, so I humbly request to say, don't say here and after, don't use such emails. Say you can create a new one. Let's say from so this point onwards, or when you go out from the university or the to the institute or say industry, say you can create your new email, right? Let's take, so if it is an academic communication, say you can use this kind of, say, your name dot edu, because so when you use your name, so sometimes that email address be taken, right? So let's say here, say I'm giving some example, say yush.edu at gmail.com or yush.sab. So since I'm using this example in the Sabaragamuwa University domain, say so we can use sab, right? So we can easily say identify such addresses, so we can easily remember those kind of addresses, right? So then subject line for emails, so there should be a subject line, and the subject line should be small and catchy, right? So there are some people in the industry, say that they sometimes they might have emails 50 to 60 emails per day. Let's say some say people who are in the top hierarchy, right? So they might get say 20-30 emails per day, right? So if your email need to be stand out from the say group, say your email subject line should be catchy, right? So it should contain the important message, right? So then only say they will open your message or they will open your email, right? Say now there are plenty of research going on, say how to uh, say emotionally catch the email subject line, right? So there is an emotion factor as well, right? So then when you go inside an email, so there should be an say greeting, right? So dear someone, or dear Mr. someone, or dear professor, or dear sir, or if you're emailing a person who is in the top hierarchy or top position, say dear sir or dear Mr. someone, right? So if you're sending some email to someone who is using a fancy email with numbers, right? Say the email message or the email client, the software, so it automatically gives the name, right? Say so that you have to read whether it is correct, or also email message, the polite message, the email body, right? After that, say you need to have some closing, regards sincerely or kind regards, right? So these are some basics when it comes to email communication, right? Say some rules that everyone loves, so that's why we call these basic setup as etiquettes, email etiquettes. Okay, does it make sense? So is this fine for everyone? Yeah. Can I know, say, is there anyone who is having some email address with numbers?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Say, so when you go out from the university, so for example, say if you're going to a bank, that bank will provide you email addresses. For example, say if your name is Sashini, and if you go to say to the HSBC bank, right? So they will give an institutional email or organizational email, sashini@hsbc.lk. Right. So if you go to the dialogue organization, dialogue company, say you say ashan@dialogue.lk, right? So the institute will provide you emails, right? And when the institutes are providing you emails, so in that case, say you have to give some username, right? So the beginning part of the email. So the email will have username and @ symbol, then the domain address. Right. So here in this case, if I take this example, yush281 is a username. @gmail.com is the domain name. Right. So if I get you some other example, let's take Ashan at say hsbc.lk. So there can be some email address, something like this. Ashan is the username, @hsbc.lk is the domain. So that is their domain or the web server where their email client is located. Right. And when you go out from the university and when you work for an institute or an organization, they ask you to give a proper username. Right. So try to give some name that you name. Let's say not your card, but some name. Let's say your short name. Try to give that, because say when it comes to email communication, say if you think about 5-10 years later, no one will use us letters. No one will use us say some communication through hard copies, right? So we all use internet communication. When it comes to internet communication, right? So people don't want to remember names, so they have to keep their names in the domain or the internet. Right. So then people search you through some search engine. Right. So people search your name or your communication or contact address through the internet or Google search. In that case, say you had to use your username. So that username would be searched throughout the internet and it will get famous. Right. So something like a Google search keyword. Right. So that is why it is not recommended to use some name and numbers. Right. Okay. Is that clear? Why it is good to use username with some name and some part of the domain content, something like .edu, .sab.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. Right. So then, say after you type everything correctly, say you hit the send button in an email, right? So before you hit the send button, say you have to check something in the email, whether you have correctly given the recipient address, email address, whether it is matching with the content, right? So if you use fancy subject line, the email client will think, okay, this email is not a proper email, so this would be a spam email, and it will send the email from the inbox to the spam box. Right. So that is why subject line is important. Say if you try to give some subject line, something like a fancy subject lines, try to grab, say, too much of emotion, the email client, for example, Google's email client is Gmail, say Yahoo's email client is, say, Hotmail, or Microsoft email client is, say, Outlook. So those email client, those softwares will think, or they capture, so that particular subject line is too much of emotion, and so this can be a spam email. So then it will take the email from the inbox and it will keep it in the spam. Right, so something like this is unwanted. Right, so that is why subject line is important. Right, and say you can use spell checking function in email. But I'll give you some tips how we can use spell checking option in emails. And when you get email from as a bulk email, oh, so you are in a bunch of a group in a big email, right? When you want to reply, check whether you want to actually hit reply all or reply. If you want to reply, say just click reply, or else sometimes you want to reply all. Sometimes you want to say send the message to everyone. In that case, you check whether you have correctly click the relevant option, whether it is reply all or reply. Right? And say check whether you have appropriate greeting. Right? So whether it can be a colleague, or it can be a superior, or it can be a junior. Right? So you have to have an appropriate greeting and closing. Right? So best regards, thanks and regards. Right? So something like, so you might have an appropriate closing. Okay. Right. So then, okay. Normally we have a email message recipient list. So when we add recipient list in our email, so we have two address, CC address and BCC address. Am I right? Okay, no response, fine. So let me go to some email. Okay. So in this email, so we have some options. Oops. So this email client is asking me to verify again. So it asked me to get some code, verification code. Okay, when we compose emails, so here we have some options, something like to address. So we can type the to address, right? So let's say I'm typing say some address, my institutional address. And also you can see here two other options, CC and BCC. What is CC? What CC stands for?
Carbon copy.
Carbon copy.
CC
Yeah.
means carbon copy.
Yes, yes. Thank you. And BCC?
Blind carbon copy.
Yeah, Sagundi, thank you. So that is blind carbon copy. See, CC is carbon copy and BCC is blind carbon copy. CC means if you send to everybody, to some group of people, so you can CC, right? So you can carbon copy them. And if you use blind carbon copy, so each people, so they can't see who are the other recipients. So that is blind carbon copy. So if you CC the message, so everyone will see, say they got an email message and they can see who are the other recipients. But instead you use blind carbon copy, the recipient say does not know who are the other recipients of the same message, right? So if you want to send some message to a group of people, right, so same message to a group of people, it is recommended to use blind carbon copy. right? So that is because there are some people, they don't want CC, carbon copy. So that means, say, you are publicizing the email addresses of some people, some users. So that is not ethical. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Does it make sense why we have to use BCC instead of CC? But why that is a good practice? Does it ring a bell? Because so we don't need to publicize some email addresses of users, right? So that's the reason. Okay, so let us go back to email signature. Let's say, fine, right? So email signature is an option so that we can set as a default value for all the emails, right? So every time when we send emails, we don't need to type, say, thanks and regards, your name, your position and all, right? So you don't need to type that every time when you send an email. Instead, what you can do, say, you can set that particular values, right? So the closing and your name and address, or your name and position as a signature, right? So that you can set the signature in the email message. So in this position, say, you can see a settings gear or settings icon or the gear icon, right? So on top of the right side of the email client, right? So in Gmail, so that is there, right? So I'm taking Gmail as an example because that is the say most common email application in our region, right? So in Sri Lankan region, so that is the most common email client or the email application that we normally use, right? Okay, so if we take Gmail, so there is a gear icon. So if you click that gear icon, say, it will take you to settings option, right? So in the settings option, so if you go down in the settings option, so you can find the signature feature where you can set a new signature, right? Let me go back to the browser. Right. So here I have the email message box, right? So this is my email client area, right? So you can see the settings icon. So if you click the settings icon, so it will show some quick settings in your email, right? So that is, you can do some styling, right? Say some themes change, color change, those options are there, right? So then you can click this see all settings. If you go to see all settings, so it will take you to email settings or Gmail settings, and you can go below to the settings, right? And here there are some options. So language, so that is English, US English, right? So images, whether you want to display the images or whether you want to click those images, right? And grammar, do you want to get the grammar suggestions on and spelling, say, suggestions on, and autocorrect on? So these are some options that you can, so default, by default, so everything is on, right? And when you type your email, so writing suggestion is also on. When you type your message, so if you misspelled some keyword, so it automatically suggests, right? Or else, so if you type the email address, right? So let me go back to my inbox. Say I have an unfinished email, so here in my draft, right? So say we can type, so dear sir, so this is the message, blah 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 blah, right? So when we type the message, So it will automatically suggest the subject line. So after typing the message, right? So that is the suggestion, which I'm talking right now. Writing suggestion, right? So then if you go down further below, right, so you can set some picture, right? Say it is not recommend to use some fancy pictures, say some pictures, something like you add your profile, right, so to your LinkedIn profile or your CV. So that is good for professional emails, right? So when you apply for jobs, or when you apply for foreign education, when you apply for say foreign research, right? So the people who is receiving the email will get some impression by looking at the profile picture. So that is why when you add some picture, so add a nice professional picture. Let's say try not to add some fancy pictures. Let's say so something like you add pictures for some other social media. Right. So here there is the signature option. So we can create one signature. Right. So let me add, say, my let's say professional signature. Okay, let me create it. Right, so that is there. So, and in the right hand side, so we can set those values, right? Say best regards. Comma, right? So then you can type your name. Right, so then your position. Right, so and your institute. Right. So these values you can edit and you can do some formatting. Right, so you can select them and you can do some formatting. What's the background color or the text color? Let's say you can do some formatting for that. Right, and also if you wish, say you can set a LinkedIn profile or your Facebook profile or your say profile address. For example, let me set LinkedIn. Right, say I'm setting LinkedIn, my LinkedIn profile. Right, and for this LinkedIn profile, say I can set, say, my LinkedIn actual profile's address. Right, so let me check. Say my LinkedIn address. Yeah, so the address is there. So this is the LinkedIn address. So I'm copying it. Right, so in my email settings, say I select this word LinkedIn, and I can link the text that I copied. Right, so then I click OK. Right. So I can set for my email, say signature default. Say I can set my professional signature, so which I created right now. So this is my default signature. right? On reply or on forward, I'm not using any signature. So that is okay because I'm forwarding some other's message, or I'm replying to some other's message or other's email. So that in this case, I'm not using my signature. Right. So that is fine. So then I can click save changes. Okay. So then I can here click compose the new message. So you can see the signature that is appearing. And when I send some message, those people can click this link and they can see the say email message with my LinkedIn profile. So if you want to send some CV to a company, say you can send your LinkedIn profile something like this in your signature. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yeah. Say, do I need to do it again, creating the signature?
So if it is possible, it's
Yeah.
great,
Fine.
sir.
Fine. Fine. Right. So in this email message, when you type email message, right? Say you have say formatting options. Say you have attached files. Right. So you can link some content. Right. So emojis are there. Drive links are there. You can insert images. Right. So you can say toggle this to confidential mode, and say you can see a pin mark. So that is inserting signature. Right. So I'm now using my professional signature. So sometimes you don't need to send your signature for some email, so that you can remove the signature. Or else say till if you want to manage signatures, so you can click here and you will redirect it to the settings. So that is where we did the configuration of our email signature, right? Fine. So let me create another signature, right? So this my professional signature is there, right? Say let me create say my signature. I'm creating it. So then I'm editing it. Say regards. Say Nimishan. Right. So I can link. So if this is a normal email or this is a business email, right? Say I can say add my Facebook profile. Right. So I'm doing some business. Right. So business institute, and say I need to promote my Facebook page, or I need to promote my web address, so that I can use this kind of option. Right. Right. So Facebook profile is there. Yeah. Say okay, Twitter, Facebook. I don't see my Facebook, right? Say, okay, let's say I have some other link, right? Say IEEE link. Let's say I have some IEEE account, so it is hard to find my Facebook account in that, right? So I'm copying this account here, right? Say something like, say you copy your Facebook profile. Right. So for example, say I'm using some other account, right? Something like Facebook. Right. So that is done. So I can click save. Right. So I can compose the message to someone. Say director of some institute, blah, blah, blah. Let's say I type my message. Let's say, purchasing laptops. Right, so dear sir, blah, 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 I type my message. So then I don't want to send this signature, but I would like to send my other signature. Right, so that is done. Does it make sense? Is it okay? Email signatures?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Right, so any questions, any doubts? Okay, if you have no questions, so then we will move to the the other topic, so which is mail merge. Right. So mail merge is kind of an option where we can send emails in bulk. Let's say we can send emails to multiple people at once. Right, so that is the option mail merge. So which is a good feature, since so we are now using email communication, say in a wide range, so that so we can send the same message to multiple say addresses or multiple recipients. Right, so that is the idea of mail merge. Right, so connecting different emails together. Right, so merging emails or merging mails together and sending at once. Right, so this is an option, so we can use when it comes to email communication, and it saves a hell lot of time. Right, so we can save lots and lots of time doing such a mail merge, because so we need to create documents for different people, different documents with the same template. Right, so we can create one template and changing the main values, and we can send the same message. Different recipients receives their own the options or their own values instead of a common email or common message or common document. Right, so then this mail merge works with a data sheet. Right, so first we have to store some information in a data sheet, and so we can create a mail template or a mail document template. Right, into that document template, so we can get the information from the data sheet. Let's say each recipient has different data, so we can get those data differently to each recipient. Right, so these templates consist of these templates will have placeholders. Right, so we normally call them placeholders. Right, so that have different individual values from the data set or the data sheet. Right, so today's session, so I will discuss two methods doing mail merge. Right, say one is using Gmail and Google Sheet. The other one is, so there is a Google Chrome extension, so which is called GMass. Right, so that is a Gmail message, massive Gmail message. So that is the idea of GMass. Let's say we will discuss these two options today. Right, okay, before going to Gmail and Google Sheet, so this GMass, I just wanted to tell you, or I just wanted to introduce you. So the mail merge option that is there in Microsoft Word. Right, so sometimes you might have heard this in your first year, first semester subject, right? So introduction to ICT or using words, say Word document or creating Word documents. But so since we are using data sheets, and so since we are using data sheets to create this mail merge, say let me do a small wrap up, right? So let me say walk through that Microsoft Word mail merge, right? So first let me open Microsoft Word. So I can take a template. It's a letter template, or else I can start with a blank document to send letters. Right. So here you can see in Microsoft Word. So normally you might have worked with Home tab, Insert tab, this Draw tab, Design tab, Layout tab, right? And you can see there is a tab called Mailings. So if you click on that tab, right, so there you have this mail merge option. Right. So this mail merge option is there in Microsoft Word to create multiple documents with a single template. Right, so we can create multiple documents using one template. Right. So I'm going to show this Microsoft Word mail merge option so we can get some basic idea when we go to Google's email, Gmail, and Google's spreadsheet. Right. Okay. So this mail merge option is really easy in Microsoft Word. So where we can use this step-by-step mail merge wizard. So Microsoft Word will help us with some instruction without doing anything. So it will help us with some basic instruction if we use this step-by-step mail merge wizard. Right. I'm going to click this start mail merge and step-by-step mail merge wizard. Right. So then, so there will be a mail merge wizard box appear on the right side of the screen. So is this screen is visible fully for
Yes, sir,
everyone?
it is visible.
Yeah. So if zoom, let's say because these texts are really small, let's say you can zoom and say what's there, wherever say my mouse pointer is moving. Right. So in this mail merge wizard, the first so there are 6 steps. So normally there are 6 steps. So now we are in the first step. Right. So that is the document type. So we can start with a letter, or we can start with email message, right? So we can start with envelopes, labels, and directories, right? So I'll instruct this with letters. So we'll create multiple letters with one template, right? So from this letter, so we can create personalized letter with one template. So it's a personalized content, right? So for starting document, so we can click next, starting the document. Right, say starting the document. So it asks whether you want to use the current document or start from a template or start from existing document. So if we click start from existing document, so we had to find a document in our computer. So now in this computer, so I don't have any document and I don't have any template. Let's say from Microsoft Word template, I don't use any Word template. I'm going to use this current document. right? Let's say, so I hope say everyone here from Faculty of Management Studies, right? So then, so let's type a message. So that's really with an example of Faculty of Management Studies, right? Say Faculty of Management Studies, the dean. So the dean of the faculty is sending some message. Right, so let's say dean is sending the message. Right, so and say we have the date. Let's say today's date. Right, so then to, let's say to whom we are sending. Let's say some students. Right, so I'm let it here as blank, right, to some students of some badge. Let's say some badge or year of study. So here we are going to type the name. Right, so here we are going to type the year of study. So then, so we'll try to add a subject line, so which is examination application. So let this be the subject line. Right, so then the faculty is mentioning, dear students, so dear so and so. So it is to inform you that the examination for the, let's say, year of study. So this year of study. Oops. So it should be repeat again, right? So the year of study. This is to inform you that the examination for the year of study will commence on the right. Say then your say your index number is, so we had to type some index number for these students. And the course. Right, so this is the email message that we are going to send to each and every student. So they are in different say year of study, say year 1, year 2, year 3. or academic year 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and so on. Right? Okay. So now we have to go to this next step. So the next step is select recipients. Right, I'm clicking the right side below part. Right, so in this mail merge wizard, right? So now I'm in the select recipient option, right? So I can select from Outlook contacts because Microsoft Word is Microsoft Corporation's product. So Microsoft Corporation's email client is Outlook. So here I'm not using any Outlook accounts. So I'm going to type a new list. Right, so because I don't have any recipient list, I'm going to type a new list. Right, so there, when it comes to type a new list, I have an option to create a new list. So I'm going to create a new list. Right, so if I click this create a new list, so this Microsoft package will give us some data table or a data sheet. Right, say title, it has some title. First we have some title, say Mr. so and so. Right, say then first name. Right, so HM, last name, let's say Herat. Right, say company address. So we don't know any of these. Right, but instead we need so year of study. Right, so we need index number, we need course. Right, so that we can customize the columns. Right, so here we have title, first name, last name, company address, so everything is there. Right. So we can add a new one. Right, so we can add year of study. Okay, so it is added somewhere here. Right, and I can move down that year of study. Right, so then I can add another one. Let's say index number. I'm adding it. Right, so that is okay. And also I can add the course. Add. I'm adding the course. Yeah. So here I have the title, first name, last name, year of study, index number, and course. Right, so this is fine. So I'm clicking OK. So I have first name, last name, year of study. So let's say this is this person is 2019. So index number is 19 mm04. Say course is, say, let's say marketing. So that's it. And I can add a new entry. Say Miss SK. Right, so let's say she's from 2018 batch. So 18 HM 08. So this is hospitality. So I can add another entry. So Mr. RNP, let's say Ratnayaka. So he's from 2017 batch. 17 BM 02. Let's say business. Similarly, we can add new entries. So if you want to delete some entry, say you can click here and you can delete this entry. After you complete everything, say you can click OK. Right? So then it asks you to save this as a Microsoft Office address list. Right, so inside this computer, right, so inside documents, so it will create a folder, my data stores, right? Say data sources, so that say I'm typing say exam, or else say let me type student list, STU list, student list. So I click save. Right, so and here it shows the list of items. Right, so year of study is there, index number is there, course is there, fine. So this is a list, data source. Right, so I can click OK. Right, so now we have the existing list. So we create a list, so that is selected, STU list, so that is Microsoft database, MDB file, right? So we can edit the recipient list, or we can select a different list from our contacts or from our list of items that we have already saved in our computer. Right, so then we can write the letter. So we already wrote our letter. So dear, so we can type the first name. So that's the message. And here, so we can add the values. So if you click on this more items, so if you click on this more items, so when we type our letter, so we can add the fields that we need, right? So imagine that we start typing our letter. So this is a position that we need a name, the full name, right? So we can add title. So title is selected, insert. So you look at this option, say less than symbol, title. So that's the field, the attribute, and greater than symbol. Then I can put a dot. So I can close this, right? So I can put a dot. So let me remove this, okay? So I put a dot. So then again, I need first name, insert. I can insert last name, insert, close. Right, so in between first name and last name, I can insert a space. Right, so title dot first name space last name. Right, so then I'm going to insert the year of study. So here I'm going to insert the year of study. Insert, done. Right, so then that is okay. Right, so here we are going to insert the first name. So dear, so we'll insert the last name. Say dear Hera, dear Pakirana, dear similarly, so we can have the last name here. Right. So then here we are going to add the year of study. So we remove this, more items, year of study, done. Right. So then again here, so your index number is, so we add the student's index number, done. And here, so we add the course, more items. So we add the course there. Right, so that is done. Right. So the next step is previewing the letters. Right, so we can preview the letters. So I'm clicking the next option. Say you can see the first letter, Mr.hm Herath 2019. Right, so then so dear Herath, so this is to inform you that the examination for year 2019. So this will commence on March of 2023, and your index number is say 19mm04 course marketing. Then the second one. So here you can see the next one. So you can click this arrow, or else here in this mail merge wizard, so you can click the next one. Say SK Patirana, say 18HM08, and course is hospitality. Similarly, the next one. Say R&B Ratnayaka 2017, say 17BM02, and the course is business. Right. So we created the messages, right? So that is the end. So the final step is complete the merge. Right. And then if you need to send these letters in a say printed form, say you can click this print. Right. So here you have some preview option. So that is it. So then you can finish the merge. And here there is an option, send email messages using Microsoft Outlook. So if you click that, so we can send this email messages. So here we don't have the email address. If we have the email address from our list, right, so let me close this and get back to my previous step. So edit recipient list, right? I'm going to edit this list. So I'm going to customize columns. Right, so I'm going to customize column. I'm going to add another list, say email. Okay. Okay. So then I have email address. Let's say this is herath .sab at gmail.com. Let's say this is another student. Let's say this is Neville. So I click OK. Say it asks whether do you want to update your list. Yes. Right, fine. So then I can quickly jump to complete the merge. Right, so here you have finished the merge and you can send the email message. Right, say to whom? To these emails. Right, so then we can set the subject line. Subject line is exam application or exam procedure. It's right, so examination, some process or whatever it is. Right, so we are sending the all records. So I can click OK. So then if I have Microsoft Outlook client in my computer, let's say it is now trying to configure that Microsoft Outlook client. Say I don't configure Microsoft Outlook client in my computer. So if so, so this Microsoft Word will send you the emails. Is that clear? To create say documents using Microsoft Word and mail merge option?
Yes.
Right, so here it asks you to configure this Microsoft Outlook because I'm trying to send emails, right? So now I don't need to do that, right? Say yes. Let's say it asks me to complete the say profile and to send the emails, right? So now we discussed using Microsoft Word, and inside mailings tab, so we have mail merge, right? So we can create multiple letters or multiple using Outlook, right? So there are companies, there are organizations, or there are banks, so they use Microsoft Outlook accounts, right? So because those institutes, they will pay for Microsoft and they will purchase Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, because they are doing some business and they have their business clients addresses in Microsoft Excel, and they can send emails using Microsoft Outlook. So that is fine then using Microsoft Word mail merge. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. It was very clear. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Say before going to the next session on Microsoft, say not Microsoft, Google's email and Google Sheets. Do I need to make any changes in the way I instruct, or do I slow down, or do I need to explain some stuff again and again? Any feedback from the participants?
No, sir, I think the way you do is okay.
Okay, fine. Right. So we'll come to the important part of this session, right? So mail merge using Gmail, right? So I'm using Gmail because so this is the most common platform for this email communication, right? To do this mail merge using Gmail, so there is no proper tool, so there is no proper software inside Gmail, right? Instead, so we can use additional Google developers scripts, right? So when it comes to Google, so Google is having several lot of applications, several lot of application developments, right? Say from various parts of the world, various universities, so they are now doing some projects with Google, right? So various universities, they are now doing projects with Google, right? Say some project is there, so which is and script. So someone who is working in the Twitter, so he's created a script to do the mail merge using Google, right? So that script is there in this link. So let me click this link. Let me copy the link. So in my computer, it is trying to start Firefox. Instead of Firefox, so I think it is better to use Google Chrome. So let me copy this link and go back to my Google Chrome. Right, so this is a Google workspace, right? So we are many developers, so they they post their developments inside this Google's workspace. Let me close this. Yeah. Right. So this workspace app script is to create mail merge with Gmail and Google Sheets. Right. So there are some. So this is some kind of a tutorial, right? Say that you can try by your own by reading it, right? So I'll walk through this, say what it does, right? So how we can do this, right? To create this script, so script is something, so we can run inside our web browser, or we can run inside any application. So that's a script, right? So in programming terms, a script is something that we can run inside our programs. Right, so the person who worked in Twitter, so he created a script where we can run this script inside our Gmail, and which is collaborating with Google's Sheets, right? So so here there is a copy, right? So a spreadsheet copy, right? So we can click and get this copy, and we can create our say our list of recipients, so our list of uh, users to send the email, right? And so this copy is not say malicious one, right? So it is supported by Google, right? And but it is supported by Google, but this is not a product of Google, so that is why. So it asks this message, right? So whether do you want to view the script, or whether you are going to make the copy for the Google Sheet, right? So I click make a copy to my Google Sheet. Right, so this is the sample file that they have created to send the mail merge. Right, so here we have first name, last name, and recipient. So we can edit these options, first name, last name, code. So we can edit this, but do not change this recipient list and email sent option. Right, okay, so let me change these values. So let me go back to my file where I created some addresses or some links inside documents, my data sources. Say I have a student list. So let me open this. With Excel. So let me open that with Excel. So I have a sheet already created. So let me open this with Excel. Okay, so this is the list that we created. So let me copy these values instead of typing them again and again. First name, last name. Okay, and students, can you please type some email addresses so that we can check whether you received the email? Can you type your email address in the Zoom chat so that we can check whether you received your email? Please. So let's say this is index number. So I don't need this. I'm deleting this. Delete this column. Yes, fine. Okay, thank you. Right bar. Okay, copy. Oh, so suddenly you have some numbers. Okay, and I got only 2 addresses. Fine. Okay, let me type my name. Okay, I had enough say email address. Thank you. Right. So let's say so these students has different dates of exams. Say let's say this is February 23rd. Someone is having exams on say the following dates, and here we have say email index numbers and some option email sent option. Right. So again, go back to my email. Right. So I can compose the message. Right. Say I have to have this two option, right, to whom I'm going to send. So here, so we can see, so we have to run the script. Right. And say when sending message, so we have to have the recipient list. Right. First, let me type the message. Right. So when we type the message, so we have to use double brackets. Right. So something like this double bracket. Right. So in the closing double bracket. But so I'm sorry, my keyboard is not supporting something like that. So we have to use these double brackets. Right. So let's say dear. So we have the person's address, say first name or last name. So we can use the last name. So let me copy this and put it here. Dear last name. Let's say your exam is scheduled on February right? So then you can say blah blah blah, your index number. Right, so similarly something like this, open and close brackets. So you can set their index number. I'm copying this. Control C, Control V. Right, so and we can also set the date on. Right, so here I need to change the date on. So exam date, copy. Let me put it here. Right, so then what else we have? Index number, recipient address. So we have the recipient. So let me copy this. But so let me put it here. But so I have to use something like this. Right. So look at here. Say I have typed, say your exam is scheduled on February. So this is suggesting me some title or subject line. Your exam has been scheduled. Right, so that is it. So that's enough. So let me check whether we have any additional option. First name. Okay, that's enough. Right. So we have our message. The recipient list is there. Right. So dear last name, say your exam date is there, index number is there. Right. So now we have to copy this subject line because we are going to use this subject line to send the email using this mail merge option. Right. So if you run the script using this mail merge option, so which is created by this say Google developers. Right. So here you can have a menu for mail merge, and it asks to send emails. Yes, and it is running the email on the background. Right. And to run this email, so we had to give the permission. Right. So because so this is a third-party script. It is not a script by the Google. Right. So it is under development. Right. So it's still under development. Right. So that is why it asks for permission. So I'm giving permission. Right. So this is my email. Right. So this mail merge sheet is asking for permission. Right. So Google hasn't verified this app. Right. So I'm using this. Right. So something like when you install some software to your mobile, right? So it want to read the messages, so it want to say manage the spreadsheets. Yes, yes. It will send emails. Yes. So I'm allowing it. Right. So that is done. So I can send the emails. Right. When sending the email, so we have to give the subject line. Right. So then I click OK. Oops, cannot find Gmail draft. Let me get back. Dismiss. Let me give the subject line. Okay. So I'm getting some error. So it is saying that so That is not in the draft. Yes, it is there in the draft. So it is running. Ah, yeah. So finish is script. Script is finished. So can you check? Did you receive any emails? So let me check in my emails whether I received an email from this address. Oh, right. See, I didn't change the email here for me. Yeah, students, did you received Afra? Yes or no?
Yes, I have received an email
Yeah.
as well.
Okay, so let me change the email address of mine again. So Nimishan at ccs.sab.ac.lk. So let me add another option for me. Copy. I need to send to this current address of mine. Nimishan.sab@gmail.com. Right, say again sending the emails, let's say for showing purposes. So this is the no, that is not the subject line. So subject line is this. Copy. So it is running the script on the background. So that is done. So here you can see the time the email has been sent, right? So let me go back here. So in my inbox, yes, I have received an email. Right, so did you receive the email with say these dates, exam date or index numbers? So I received without such information, but I have this information here. Just did you receive the email with this information, last name, exam date and index number? So I received an email without this information. So it's fishy, right? So the mail merge script is okay. Okay. Afra, did you receive an email with information or without information?
So we have received the same email as yours. My one is also the same without the index number.
Without index number. What is that? Name. First name. This and date. Right, so this is taking it correctly. Right, so it is taking this recipient list correctly. So that is why you got the emails, but it is not taking this last name, exam date, and index number. It's really fishy. Right, so it is okay. It is okay. Say, since we don't have much time, they use email merge and Google Sheets, right? So since this option is working, right? So this double brackets and the recipient, right? So that is working. So it should work for these, right? So we'll try again, right? So we'll quickly move back to the other option, say using GMAS. Right, say using GMAS, so which we can use as a Google Chrome extension. Right. So let me go back to this browser and go to this website www.gmas.co. So GMAS is an organization that they created a Google extension. Right, so there's an organization, so they created a say some products, right? Say something like a Google extension, right? So Google Chrome to send bulk emails, let's say per day, 50 or 100, or also we can buy the product so that we can send 1,500 emails per day. Right, so here there is a 30-second video, right? So we can watch it if you have some understanding. So we can add this extension to the Chrome, right? So this is a plugin. Right, so we can add this plugin to the Google Chrome application in your computer. Right. Again, so it asks for permission, right? So we have to give permission to use this application. So we have to sign in. Right. So I'm signing in to this, right? So it will ask for permission to read, compose emails in the Gmail account, right? So that is success. Okay. So I'm blocking this notifications and close this window. Right. So that is it. So I have installed the plugin to my Google Chrome. Right. So if we install the plugin to the Google Chrome, so earlier my Gmail application is something like this. So here you can't, you don't have any icons or plugins or buttons. But here now, so we have some icons, plugins and buttons. Right. So this is a email that I was working. Right. So here you can't see any icons or plugins or whatsoever. Right. So now I configured, installed this GMAS plugin to my Google Chrome. Right. So I have inserted or installed this Google Chrome. Right. So after installing it my Google Chrome, so here you can see that plugin is working inside my Gmail. Right. So I can connect this with the Google Sheet and send emails. Right. So I can send emails with this GMAS, right? So massive emails. Right. To do that, so let me compose an email. Right. So when I try to compose email, say you will get this Gmass button instead of using the send button. So we can use this Gmass button. Right. And also, so you can see here this Gmass icon. So where we can use the Google Sheet to send email messages. Right. So let me use a Google Sheet. So if you need to send some, if you need to select some recipients, so we can use the Google Sheet. So let me go to the Google Sheet, and it asks me to sign up for the Google Sheet. Yes, I'm again signing up to this Google Sheet. Right, so here, say it asked me to find a sheet, Google Sheet. Say I have a sheet so that I used earlier. Say copy of this, say Google Sheet merge. Earlier we used that, so we had 10 rows. So we connect this spreadsheet. So that's the same spreadsheets that we are selecting. So there are 6 recipients. So it says, so there are 6 recipients. And we can type the subject line. Close this, and we can type the subject line. Again, examination. Or else we can type, say, dear student or dear. So we have to add a personalized field, dear last name. So I'm selecting this. So this last name will be copied into our clipboard, right? So then say I can click paste because it will be copied into my message. So dear last name. So this is to inform you about the examination. And your index number is, right, so let me get the index number from this index number. So that will be again copied. So I'm pasting. So I'm telling to the students, so please visit the VLE, please visit the VLE to download the application. And send the duly filled application form before, oops, before the exam date, right? Say, yeah, say that will be copied. Right, so then I can click this Gmail send, and it will send the message. And it asks me to wait until it sends the message. Yeah, so there is some problem with our sheet. So that's why it does not sending the message. So there is a problem with the sheet that we created. Okay, now say, did you receive an email? Sashini? Afra?
So this time I hadn't received an email.
Okay, I think I received an email. So here, so dear Nimishan, so this is to inform you that your index number is this one, and please visit the VLE to download the application and send it on or before February 23rd. So this is the details that we set. I think please refresh your message. So it will work, right? And say there is some other options. Say auto follow up is there, so we can check auto follow up, right? So and we can see the reports. Say this is sent. Say last name, index number. This is sent. Right, so we can say whether those messages are read or unread. And so if we have scheduled the send, so we can check whether say schedule them and send. So those options are there, right? So in this report, so we can see so whether they are received or not. Is the messages there? I think so. Now this GMAS is working.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for others. Right, say I want you to try, right? So if you have time, say try that Google Sheet option, right? Say trying the app scripts and say add a Google extension as GMAS. It's a Google Chrome. So this will only support in Google Chrome, right? So if you're using say Microsoft Edge or say Firefox, it doesn't support, right? So it will support only for this Google's Chrome. Right, so that is the end of this session. Any questions or any doubts that you need to clarify?
Excuse me,
Yes.
sir, about this GMAS thing, sir. Like, is there a possibility that some people can get the email and some
No,
people
I didn't
won't?
get your question properly. Say,
Out
what do
of
you
the
mean by
list
some
that
people
only
get the
some
email?
people will get the email and the
Okay.
others will miss it.
There might be some possibility of sending the email message. Let me check. So in the report, it doesn't show me the report, right? So it should show me the report. So there is no schedule sent. Right, so there is a question in the Zoom chat, right? Say it's about tracking the email, right? So that is what I'm trying to find here. Right. So in this report, so it should show, say who has read the email and who has not read the email, who has opened the email. So that's the reports, the GMAS reports. Let's say if they read or unread. But so in my case, so it doesn't show me the report, right? So in this report section, So since this is in this GMAS and this app script is under development, say nothing much is developed yet. But in future, say when you are using these extensions, so it will show you more options. Is it okay? The person who asked that question, say tracking the email. So here is the option, but in this case, so we didn't send much email, so that is why it doesn't show. Yeah, any other questions? So here GMS report section is there. Yeah, any other questions? I'm trying with this so GMS campaign email, right? So the practice email. So this is a test email. So let me try first name. Recipient. No, we don't need the recipient. Same date. Email. So let me send a test email. So there are some options here tracking. So we can check who opens, who clicks, and then some options are there. So reply to address. So from the email, so we can set a reply to address. If we have a reply address, so we can set a reply address. So the tracking is there. So we can check who opens the email, who clicks the email. So those options are there. Let me try sending again. seems it sent message. Yeah, I received the test message and also so the report shows the test message. Yeah, so that is how we send, say, bulk emails, let's say using GMAS. Is it okay for everyone? Any other questions? Okay, if you have no questions, so we'll wind up this session. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that wonderful, informative session, sir. Like personally, as for me, the part where you spoke about mail merge was very, very interesting. Thank you very much for that informative part, sir.
Okay.
And for people with an unflagging commitment to self-improvement, anywhere can be a place of learning. So I think this is one of them. So hope you all learned a lot more about email handling and how to handle emails like a pro. So we're sure that this had added some sort of an advantage to improve yourself, at least even by a very small step. So it's time to be grateful for all the souls that were here with us. And I would like to invite Leo Shanika to deliver a vote of thanks. And I request all the participants to stay with us until the very end to capture this moment. So we will remember it as a memory. So it's over to you, Leo Shanika.
So, good evening, everyone, and it's my immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on the behalf of the Leo Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka. First, I
We have
would
a small-
especially
Okay. Continue, Shanika.
okay. First, I would especially like to express our heartiest gratitude to our guest speaker, Mr. S. Nimishan, for taking the time out of his busy schedule to share his knowledge with us. Because we believe that knowing better email etiquette and how to handle email well will definitely help us to communicate, save time, extract information, and have meaningful correspondence. So, as those who are about to enter the competitive and busy field, developing these kind of skills will be a great opportunity to achieve our goals. So, thank you again for giving us this great opportunity to learn about advanced email handling. Next, I would like to thank our staff advisor, lecturer, Ms. Ishrara Katuandania, for her continuous guidance for us. I would also like to thank our president, vice president, secretary, the board of directors, as well as the members who work hard to make this session a memorable success. Finally, I would like to thank all the participants for joining us today. Once again, thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you. Over to Leo Afra.
Thank you, Leo Shanika. And now we have reached the end of the session. But before winding up the session, I request all of the participants to switch on your cameras to take a small group photograph. Guys, switch on your cameras as much as possible. We'd like to see others' faces as well. So the others. So I think you're on mute.
Thanks. So sorry. Say for lecturers, I think this is very common. So we open the mic, and also we used to use this camera on. But for students, so that might be awkward.
So if everybody's ready, we can go with the photo.
Let's take the photo, right? Done. Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone.
Yes.
Thank you students. Thank you BO members, and good luck. Good luck everyone
Yes.
for your PG endeavors.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining and staying with us tonight. See you next time. Have a good night.